And you got me thinking lately, bitch, you crazy. And nothing's ever good enough. I wrote a little song for you. It go like
let's get it.
Hello. So this is like a little late. It's January 1st, the day I'm filming this, but this is going to be a little wrap-up video of 2023 and a kind of goal-setting video for 2024. Personally, 2023 was the absolute worst reading year I've ever had. Completely my fault. I only accomplished one of my goals, which was to start making YouTube like book content. So that's the one goal I accomplished, but everything else I failed at. So I'm gonna be hopeful and, you know, refresh those goals for this year, and hopefully I'll actually follow through this time. I also got gifted a Kobo. I'm like intimidated to open it for some reason, but I need to just hurry up and do it because it's exciting, it's fun. When it comes to reading habits for this year, I finally learned how to DNF a book, and I really ran with it. I DNF'd so, I don't have a number, but I DNF'd so many books this year. I started over 100 books this year and DNF'd so many of them because I kept picking up books that like weren't that good. So one of my goals that I was doing in 2023 was to read more like physical books and stop picking up so many books off of Kindle Unlimited, and I failed at that. I continued to pick up books off of Kindle Unlimited that were just super easy to read and not necessarily the books I had like high expectations for or thought I would really like. I read 9 out of 33 books that I had on my like looking forward to anticipated reads list for 2023, but in my defense, and this is a very flimsy excuse, but some of the books didn't actually come out in 2023, like not a lot of them admittedly, but some of them, like the third book in the Burning Kingdom series by Tasha Suri didn't come out. The Shadow Witch book by M. Sinclair, I think, didn't come out, which I was really excited about. So yeah, some of the books didn't even come out, so I have an excuse. So in this video, I will not be talking about every single book I picked up or fully read this year, just because I read so many mediocre, like 3 out of 5 books, and it's just not worth it. Like, not only would this video be like an hour or 2 hours long, but it would just be unentertaining. Like, I would have nothing to say about most of the books. Because so many books this year, I like fully read them, and I just would come out of it. I don't know if it's partly because I'm reading like book after book after book without a break and my brain is just like on autopilot at that point, but I come out of it with like no thoughts or opinions. I can't even write it. So when it comes to books that I read this year that were off of my anticipated reads list, I read Jasper Vale, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I wrote, "A couple is super cute. I'm kind of relieved there wasn't too crazy of a fight or third act breakup or anything." I'm reading like 3 books at once right now for some reason, so I took a break in the beginning of this book when they first sleep together when they're not drunk because the possible rejection made me nervous, but then I came back and finished all of it. Eloise is warm and sweet and kind and bubbly, and Jasper is quiet and serious and strong, but adores her. It's a very cute matchup, tried and true. Okay, clearly I did like this book, but it wasn't like, I barely remember it, so 3 out of 5 feels like a very accurate rating. I also read These Infinite Threads by Tahira Mafi off of my anticipated reads list, which I liked so much. I give it a 4 out of 5. I wrote, "This was so good, I desperately want the next book. This is why I hate reading unfinished series. Why are there 2 love interests at the same time though? Like, there's a real connection with both of them. She seems destined to be with both of them. Usually in a love triangle you can tell who the main character will end up with, but I can't now. I prefer Cyrus right now, and his storyline is so dramatic. The tension in that locked room in his bedroom, the scene with his head in her lap. What if Iblis is trying to do good in his own way? Like, what if he's trying to make amends for all his past failings, and that's why he's helping Eliza? I swear to God, if there's any more miscommunication in the next book, I'll scream. I mean, at this point, I feel like she can't pick either of the guys because the other one will be so hurt because they're both so in love with her." Also had a lot to say about this. It was so cute. There were so many really good scenes that I was like so happy to have read, and I was so happy that the author thought to include them. And I loved all the characters. I loved the dynamics between the characters. I loved the relationships. It was so cute. And I'm very excited for the next book, which is coming out I think in February. Also off the list, I read Psycho Academy. This was like recommended on TikTok, and it's a ride. It's not like the best written book of all time or anything, but it's enjoyable. It's a fun reading experience. It's something I was very reactive to, and it was a fun time. Yeah. Then I read Ruling Sixth End, and this is this is from the Clickanian series. I think that's what it's called, the Clickanian something series, and this series is in fact a alien romance series, and it's basically about these human women getting kidnapped by these aliens and like being forced to go to an alien planet that they didn't know existed, that the humans don't know exists, like they don't know alien life exists yet, and they get saved by other aliens and then they end up like kind of integrating themselves into society, and there are like romances that ensue, and it's honestly super fun and super cute. I'm not gonna lie, it's the only alien romance books that I like have read that I liked. I talk about a different one later on in this video, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's so much fun to read, and seriously, give it a go. Then the next book off of the list that I read was Surge from the Dragon Maid series, and I think I liked these books because I liked other books that the author had written, and I ended up DNFing this. I think this is the third book in the series, and I liked the first two. I really like the main character. She's like bubbly and sweet and innocent and cute, and it's not like in a pick-me way, but I don't know, I just didn't care that much about the plot. Like, I liked the characters a lot, but the plot didn't hit that much, and so the happily ever after was basically already there, mostly, and so I just could not be bothered to continue, so I DNF'd it. Another DNF from my anticipated reads is Fallen Stars by, I think, Imami Airyu. Yeah, I DNF'd Fallen Stars at 71%, so I read like a good amount of this, and I wrote, it's not bad, but there's so much smut, and I kind of want more plot from it. Disappointed because I had hoped for it, but I just got kind of bored. Might come back to it later. Spoiler alert, I did not come back to it later, and I do not plan to because I just don't care anymore. So yeah, the first book was a lot of fun. Not perfect, but fun. The second book, I think that the pacing was fine, but like, yeah, there just wasn't enough focus, in my opinion, on the plot. The last book that I actually read on my anticipated reads list, I also DNF'd. This truly was the year of DNFing, and it was The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I liked the other Lauren Asher books in the series enough, like, what is it, The Billionaire, Dreamland, something like that. The first one is The Fine Print, the second is Terms and Conditions. I thought they were fine. Like, they're not like amazing or super memorable or anything, but I think they're fun enough to read if you have time. The third book I didn't like. I thought it was boring. I didn't care about the characters, and it was a second chance romance, but you didn't get to see, like, it wasn't like two timelines where you see them fall in love in the past and then you see them meeting again in the future. Like, it was just the future, and then you have like sometimes little flashbacks from the past, and it just made me not care that much about the characters or really understand why they liked each other, because they already had those feelings from the very beginning. And yeah, I didn't like the male main character either. I felt like there was so much potential with him, and it just fell flat. So yeah, those were the anticipated reads that I actually read for 2023. Next, we're going to get into my most memorable DNFs. So obviously I DNF'd a lot this year, and these were the, like, when I went through my list of all the books I read that I remembered to like write down, these are the books that I actually kind of remember DNFing, and I remember why I DNF'd them. So first on the list is Broken Trust, which is book 1 of the Pacific Prep series. This was so bad. Please don't read it. I mean, I don't... like, if you want to, I don't know, but it's set in high school, and there's like some really dubious consent and very grapey scenes, and it just really left a bad taste in my mouth and really unsettled me, honestly. Like, I hated it. I hated the experience of reading it. I regret picking it up. I really didn't like it. I don't recommend it. The next book on this list is Ice Planet Barbarians. I said I was going to talk about a different alien romance book later, and now is later. This one I DNF'd at 37%, and I just have because it is so stupid. Which is like, a lot of the books I read are stupid, but this one was just like on another level. I think for this book, the setup was weird, which you can expect from an alien romance, but then the execution was also weird, and like the characters couldn't really communicate, and it was just a mess. Like, yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is ridiculous, I can't, and I DNF'd it. But like, if you liked it, good for you. Next one I DNF'd was Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. I tried to read this just because I know J.R. Ward is like kind of an old school, like an older author who has a lot of stuff out, and I just liked the idea of having so much content to read, so I tried their stuff out, and I read like a sample of Dark Lover off of KU, and it pissed me off. It just pissed me off. It was like, wait, I have something written for it. But yeah, read sample on KU, and I think I just don't want to read a book about a girl getting with a friend of her dad's, and she almost gets raped, and then the dude scared her, and he knew what happened to her, but still reacted sexually to her while she was asleep. Like, just because you're taking care of the guy who tried to assault her doesn't make you the better guy necessarily, when you're partly doing it because you're attracted to her. This all just makes me tired. A beautiful woman can never just be a person. They have to be coveted and desired at all times. No favor is free. DNF. Clearly I was very upset. Rightfully so. This shit pissed me off. Like, seriously, no, it actually pissed me off. He like reacted sexually to her after saving her from an assault while she was asleep, and he was like spying on her, and it was so, it pissed me off. Next, I DNF'd The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. Obviously, I read the Broken Bond series by J. Bree like everybody else in 2022, I think, and freaking loved it. Put this on my radar, and I liked the plot a lot, but first, I don't know why I DNF'd it, actually. Let me see what I wrote. I don't have anything written. I DNF'd it at 47%, so I read like halfway through. I think the romance was just pretty slow burn, and I wasn't in the mood for slow burn at the time. But honestly, I might go back to it because I remember the plot being pretty good, and I do like J. Bree's writing. So yeah. Next, I DNF'd Crave by Tracy Wolff. This was just silly, and it was so much fun, but like it just didn't suck me in. I don't know. Yeah, the whole setup was silly, but that's fine, because again, I like a lot of weird and dumb and random things. But I just didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the plot. It didn't like suck me in. I DNF'd also Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater, I think her name is. This one was silly, and it feels very much like a product of its time, which is fine. I feel like I would have eaten this up when I was like 14, but I'm not 14 anymore, and I just thought it was a little silly, a little goofy. I also DNF'd Halal Sex, which I still want to finish. I don't know why I DNF'd it. I feel like it's because it's a nonfiction book. Like, I never read nonfiction books, so for this one I needed to be like in the zone with reading it, and I liked when I was reading it, but then I got out of the zone and I just didn't pick it up again, because like it's not like there's a plot or anything for me to like be, you know, looking forward to unraveling or anything. So yeah, I think I might go back to that actually. And I also DNF'd The Annihilator by Runix. This one was insane. I read the there's 2 books in the series by Runix, and it's one by the same couple, and then I skim read The Emperor, which I didn't really like, and then I tried to read this, and it was actually insane. Let me read you what I have written. The Annihilator, DNF'd at 15%. Too dark for me. She's literally a sex slave and he's not helping her, just killing anyone who tries to buy her. She's still getting assaulted too. Yeah, I just couldn't get behind like the male character. He was scary and I didn't understand him, and I know I only read 15%, but like literally how is that redeemable? Like it was scary. It was just way too dark for me. I'm not a dark romance girly, really. Next on the list of memorable DNFs is My Soul to Keep by Kennedy Ryan. I tried this out because I love Hookshot by Kennedy Ryan, and it's like one of my favorite books, so I was like, okay, I want to read more from this author. And this, like, it's not the writing that I had a problem with, it's the whole dynamic, or like the trope of one of the characters being like famous and successful and everything, and the other one being a fan of the famous and successful character. I don't know why, but that makes me cringe so hard, and it's so weird to me. I just feel like it's a weird power dynamic, and they don't feel like equals when it's like that, when it's like one is admiring the other one so much. So yeah, I just found it a little cringy, a little too cheesy, and I DNF'd it. Okay, there's like 4 more. Find Me. This one is like a reverse harem contemporary thriller romance, and this one at 89%, so I read most of it, and I just have written, I swear it's easier to read about murder than sexual abuse. I can't do it. I remember this. It was so scary. Basically, if you don't want spoilers, skip like 40 seconds ahead, but basically it's about a girl who is getting stalked by like her high school teacher, and the high school teacher like murders her whole family, and she ends up in the witness protection program, and when she, under her new identity, she meets like her neighbors who are like all, I think, brothers or something, and she has a romance with all of them at once. Yeah, like the whole stalking and the sexual abuse and like that, those themes and that aspect of it was really hard for me to read, so I just DNF'd it because I was like, I can't do it. Okay, next, Gladiator's Downfall. This was on KU and the cover looked really cool, so I picked it up, and the character design was really cool, and I think the plot like had a lot of potential. I don't even know, why did I DNF this? I think it was just moving a little slowly for me, and I just probably wasn't in the mood for it. I'm such a mood reader. I read 21% of this, so I gave it like a good chance, I think. That's all I have to say about that one. And then Fourth Wing. I had so much hope for this book. I really thought I'd like it, and then I just didn't. I don't care about the characters. I didn't care about the relationship. I wasn't looking forward to the romance. The plot seemed like it could be interesting, and I liked the like fantasy aspect of it and the dragons and like little things like that, but mostly it was boring and I could not get through it, and this put me in a slump. This put me in like a 1-month slump where it was just the worst. But yeah, that was Fourth Wing. And then lastly, for memorable DNFs, It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole. This one I DNF'd at 56%, so I read a good chunk of it, and I wrote, they call the girls bitches and it's annoying, plus why is he hanging around people he doesn't trust not to rape a girl? I didn't understand why we even liked the male main character, and the plot was just, it was like really dramatic, and so it was like it kept my attention, but it was not my cup of tea. Again, I'm not into dark romance that much. I don't know why I picked it up. Yeah. Okay, those were all my memorable DNFs of the year, considering this was the year of DNFs, so I had to put that in. These are the best rated books of this year, and so just to be clear, I read literally no 5-star books. Yeah, I know, sucks for me, but Under the Oak Tree, if you know, you know, it's a manhwa, and it has so much potential to be so good when it's finished. Like, I'm so excited. It's about this girl who is basically abused by her father, and her father, I think, is a priest or like some important person in the kingdom, and she gets married off to this knight who is like not an important person originally when she marries him, and then he goes off to like fight dragons or something, and he risks his life, and people think he's gonna die and not come back alive, but he does come back alive, and now he's a really big deal, and she gets sent to like live with him, and it's just really good, I swear. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but it's really interesting. There's like a lot of character development and cute scenes, and the art is beautiful, and the story is so interesting. I love it. I wouldn't give it a rating yet because I haven't finished the whole series, but I'm super excited for how it ends. I'm reading every update. Then I gave Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood 4 out of 5 stars. This one I have written, it was so easy to get through and pretty freaking cute. I love when men are this in love and obsessed with a woman first for years and they blush. That is all. I hope they have twins and have a stable and safe loving home and live happily ever after. Oh no, wait, I did not give this a 4. I gave this a 3.1 out of 5, but in a good way. I guess I'm adding it to like the list because I really enjoyed it and like I remember it. Was it kind of similar to Love Hypothesis? Sure, yes. A lot of the themes were similar, the like surprises were similar, the general vibe was just similar, but I expected that, so I didn't care. Then I also read Part of Your World. Both of these books I read in January, and that I gave a 4 out of 5. And I wrote, I thought this was so fun and it made me so giddy at times. The main character was 38 and 10 years older than the male love interest, which was interesting to see and refreshing just because we get younger girl, older guys so often, and girls still have a lot of life to live even after they turn, gasp, 25. I do wonder what a woman IRL that's 38 would think about the way the character is written, because nothing stood out to me, but maybe parts of it were unrealistic. I don't know, but I didn't notice it. I would sometimes forget that she was that age though. I feel like I haven't really read a book like this before. Just based on that, it's more memorable. I don't know if it's because of the way books are so heavily marketed with tropes now, but this felt like it set itself apart because it didn't feel like an obvious checklist of tropes. The class differences in the upbringings, the parental expectations, the responsibility on the main character's shoulders were crazy. It did definitely feel like the problems were real problems that weren't easily solved, which made the book feel more high stakes and kept me super engaged. I literally read this all at once. Started it, I think, on the bus on my way home from work, and I finished it at like 5 a.m. the next day. The mystical elements with lightning, rain, and the town supposedly trying to keep them together was fun to see too. Reminded me of Hookshot with the magical realism. I liked the commentary on abuse and its forms, with emotional abuse for the main character and the physical for Liz. How it doesn't belittle the victims and shows to a degree the possible intricacies of a relationship like that. The character development was so good too. Better than the average romance book for sure. Just the general portrayal of romance was so alluring, like it's this life-altering force. Beautiful. I had so much to say about this book. Damn. Yeah, it was really good. I know Abby Jimenez came out with another book, Yours Truly, this year. It was on my list. I didn't read it, but hopefully I will read it in 2024. Because I've heard like every single one of her books are hits. Like she does not miss ever. And then the 60-40 rule. This one, the 60-40 rule by Ellie K. Wilde. I read in February, and I just wrote so cute and so romantic, 4 out of 5. I think this is the book about the chef and the real estate agent, and it has like anxiety rep and just some really cute scenes, jealousy scenes, I think, and it was just really cute and really fun. So yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Next, in March, I read The Right Move by Liz Tomford, just like literally everybody else, and I gave it 4 out of 5. I wrote many declarations of love, and not necessarily cheesy, but in that realm of feel-goodness, but a lot of fun and super cute. This, like, the characters were written so well, and it made sense as to why they liked each other, and they fit really well together, and it was just good. It was just good. Would I read it again? No, but I really liked it when I did read it. Almost immediately after this, I read the Phases of the Moon series, which was one of my favorite series of this year. It was so good. I read books 1 and 2 after I read the Storm Dragon's Mate books 1 and 2. And I really liked the contrast between the two main female characters. I wrote less airy and sweet than the last series, but still liked it. Appreciate the differences in female main characters. I think I like this one better though. Can't believe I read another incomplete series. I read so many incomplete series this year, it was actually torture. But yeah, this was so fun and so cute. I loved the female main character. I loved the setup. I loved the academy setting. I loved all the love interests. It was just a good time. I'm so excited for the next book to come out in, I think, literally this week. I think it's coming out in like 4 days. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Another really good series I read this year, this is also a manhwa. It was I'll Be the Matriarch in This Life. Oh my god, this is so good. And I love this like thing that manhwas, a lot of manhwas do, where it's like going back in time or like living a second life, getting a second chance, like that sort of thing. I love it. And this one is about a girl who dies at like 25 or something, and then after she dies she goes back in time and she wakes up as her like 10-year-old self or something, like young self, like 7-year-old or something, and she gets to do her life again and do it with like the knowledge that she has from already having lived. And it's so good and it's so satisfying and it's so cute, and I highly recommend. I can't rate it because it's not finished, but so excited to see where it's going right now. With the updates right now, they've gotten to the point where like she's older now, she's not a kid anymore, and it's so cute. It's so much fun. Then I also read volumes 8 and 9 of Sasaki and Miyano, and this series has my whole heart. I love it so much. It's so cute. I watched the anime. There's nothing like I love it so much. You don't understand. It's so cute. And then I also have the Clickanian series, which I talked about earlier. Love that. It's so much fun. It's not like an English masterpiece or anything, but it's so much fun. Another one of the best books I read in 2023 was The Brightest Light of Sunshine. This was so cute. Wait, let's see what I have written for it. The Brightest Light of Sunshine, 4.3 out of 5. I love the single dad / adoptive parent older brother trope so much. This is making me feel like I want to read a romance book one day. They're so mature with their honesty and open communication, and I want a man like this man, please. This was so good. It was so cute. It had such good progression of plot. The pacing was good. The characters were great. The dynamic and the relationship was amazing. Like I had no complaints. I didn't get like a 5-star feeling from it, but I really liked it. Okay. Another one of the best books I read this year, and this is more recent, I read The Blackened Blade. This I gave 3.6 out of 5, and it's like also it was giving manhwa vibes because of the storyline. It was like about the girl going back in time in her life and being younger and like getting to live again, and the storyline is so intriguing. I wrote excited to know what her magic is and what she is, as well as meet a certain love interest, and for her old friends to realize they effed up and her sister to be left with nothing. Basically, I think this has the potential to be so good and so satisfying, and I am so excited for the next book. I don't know when it's coming out, but I think it might be coming out in 2024, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, there isn't a release date out that I've seen, but I'm very excited. Next, I have the Dragon Queen books 1 and 2. This one I gave 3.7 out of 5 for both of them. I wrote better than the average Kindle fantasy romance for sure. Too many intimate scenes in my opinion, but personal preference. Interested in reading the next book when it comes out. Love how the dragons felt like real characters and not just props, and how intelligent they were. I love dragons, if you don't know, and this like series used dragons in a really fun way, and I was just really like, I had a good time reading it. I read it during like a road trip, and it kept me thoroughly entertained. Okay, lastly, on the best rated books of 2023 is the Anchor for the Change series, book 1 and 2. What do I have written for this? I gave this one 3.5 out of 5. I wrote, they wear lengas. One of the love interests' name is Irfan, and it's not too much spice compared to plot and character building. I liked pretty much everything about these books. I loved the plot, I liked the characters, I liked the pacing, and then there were little things that were added, like the fact that a love interest name was Irfan, and like them wearing lengas, that I just thought was really fun, and I like was like, oh my god, like cool, you know? Hello. So obviously this is a different day. I'm realizing I didn't talk about the worst books that I read in 2023, which is funny because those are like the most interesting. But just so you guys know, these aren't like the worst of the worst. My DNFs are way worse because these books I actually read all the way through so I could rate them. Both of the series I'm going to be talking about, I've read multiple books in both series, even though I didn't like it that much, and which is very me core. Both series are entertaining, but just not that good. So there's better stuff out there. I wouldn't particularly recommend either of these series, but I read them. So in the worst and weirdest books category that I actually read through these books, I didn't DNF them. Both are rated below 3 stars. Number 1, which is like, we're going worst of the worst to slightly better. Number 1, worst of the worst books I read in 2023 is Zodiac Academy. I am so easy to market to. If something is popular, I'll read it. And honestly, I like a lot of popular things that other people are like, that's not well written, that's not good. I liked From Blood and Ash, even though I also acknowledge that it's not perfect. It's not written super well, and there are some weird things in it, but I enjoyed it anyway. For Zodiac Academy, I read books 1 to 3. So I read 3 of these books, and I skimmed book 4. Because I think if you know, you know, something happens in book 4 that like we've been waiting for, so I just wanted to have the information. So for that one, I have written interesting setup, even though I've never been into star signs and all that. Love the academy setting, per usual, but don't like bully romances or teacher-student romances. Bully romances are so not my thing. Again, I'm just not a dark romance girly. Never will be. It's just too... I like nice people. And enemies to lovers can be fun as long as there's still some respect there, but for bully romances there's like not even respect, or at least it's not shown. So boo, tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. And obviously teacher-student romances, there's a power dynamic, and it's just icky. It's just icky. I don't care if they're older than 18. I don't care if it's technically legal. There's still a power dynamic. He's still your teacher. He or she is still your teacher. Like, stop, gross. I felt like this wasn't as bad as Shatter Me, and I say that as someone who loves the Shatter Me series. But the Shatter Me series goes, like, it gets more and more outlandish and out there as the series progresses. Zodiac Academy kind of does that too, but just not to the same degree. Zodiac Academy got more and more like, the stakes kept getting higher, but it was also silly. And yeah, it was just like, the more I read it, I was like, this is ridiculous. And like, what we thought the main plot of this is kind of no longer the main plot. And yeah, also it used the cliche like rich boy getting abused, and that's why he's a piece of, you know, he's a POS. And I'm like, that's so cliche. And sometimes I eat it up, I'm not gonna lie, but in this case I didn't, because I just didn't like that character. Overall, somewhat interesting plotline, or at least entertaining plotline, but the characters felt like caricatures. I didn't particularly like most of them. The sisters were fine, everyone else didn't like them that much, and I didn't feel attached to any of them, even the sisters. And I read 3 whole books so if I still didn't feel attached to them, it wasn't gonna happen. So yeah, tomatoes, 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 but also entertaining. And that's kind of all I need sometimes. Okay, this one isn't as bad as Zodiac Academy, but it's still pretty bad, and I think I rated it the same. I rated both of these 2.5 out of 5 stars. So, you know, it was entertaining, but it wasn't good. Saints Academy by Casey Keene. Now, I've read multiple other series by Casey Keene. I read the Silvercrest Academy, which I liked. I read the first book of Silvercrest Academy, and I actually liked that. I haven't read the second one yet. I don't know, maybe I'll end up DNFing it, because it's one of those things where the setup is always fun and then it progresses and it gets boring. So yeah, that one, I liked book 1. I haven't read book 2, but I think that is out. And then for the other series that I read by Casey Keene, it's Featherstone Academy. Just so you're aware, all 3 of these are like academy, reverse harem, paranormal fantasy type books, which is like super up my alley for 2023. I didn't like this because, first of all, it was very like Not Like Other Girls, and we need to get past the Not Like Other Girls BS, for real. Like, get over it. I am exactly like other girls. I love all the same things. My favorite color is literally pink. Like, it's fine. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a girl. Chill out. I love makeup. I love pink. I love fashion. It's okay. It's okay. And I'm still pretty without makeup. It's okay. And there's like a line in this where it's like, she didn't wear makeup, but she was naturally beautiful. And it's like, do you think I'm not naturally beautiful? I'm also naturally beautiful. I just also like makeup. It's okay. Stop being a pick-me. Oh my god. Other than that, I didn't understand why the love interests liked the girl. Like, I didn't understand why she liked them. I didn't understand why they liked her. Other than them all just being attractive people, it was like there was nothing deeper than that, than like that, and also just like the characters being a little different than everyone else, which is also so like, you're not like anyone I've ever met. It's very much so like it's kind of in the same realm of like someone getting rejected and they never get rejected, so they become interested in the person that rejected them just because they rejected them. It's very like that, like, you're interesting, you're not like other girls, you're not like anyone I've ever met before, and it's just like the most basic normal person, and you're like, okay. But yeah, out of the 3 series that I've read slash, I mean, I DNF'd one of them, but I don't remember how much I read of Featherstone Academy. I don't know if I got through the first book or not, but I read a good chunk of it. Like, I got to the point where they talked about being in a polyamorous relationship. I read like a good chunk of that. I read all of the first book of the Silvercrest Academy series, and I read 2 books. I read Reckless Souls and Damaged Souls. I wrote both books were forgettable but entertaining, 2.5 out of 5. So I read them, but they weren't good. Like, they were fine. I don't remember almost anything from this, so that, like, not only do I not remember much from it, but it's kind of meshing together with a bunch of other books I've read, so that tells you all you need to know. Those are it for the worst and weirdest books I actually read from beginning to end in 2023. You can carry on with the clips from January 1st that I filmed. Okay, next I'm going to show you my anticipated reads for 2024. I have 16 books on my list so far. Number 1 is Shadow Witch by M. Sinclair. This is the Phases of the Moon series, book 3. So excited. Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands by Heather Fawcett, coming out January 16th. I haven't read the first book yet, but I might read the first book in preparation for the second one. Feybound by Sarah El Arifi, coming out also January 16. This one is by the same author as The Final Strife, and obviously it has fae and just cool fantasy elements, and I'm excited to like check it out. Next is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I'm so excited for this one. It's, I think, a paranormal romance, like with werewolves and stuff, and it's coming out February 6th, 4 days before my birthday, and what a great birthday gift it is. I really liked Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Love Hypothesis was okay. I've heard Love Theoretically is really good, and I've heard Checkmate is really good, so definitely excited. I will definitely read Bride by Ali Hazelwood like right when it comes out, because it's like right up my alley. And then also February 6th, All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi is coming out. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I have no idea where the plot's going, and I have no idea where, like, I just don't know where things are going with that series, and I'm so excited to find out. And then February 20th, The Darkest Corner of the Heart by Alison Coney is coming out. This, I believe, is the book after The Brightest Light of Sunshine that I talked about earlier, and it's about the male main character's little sister when she's like a little bit more grown up, and she's like a ballet, what do you call them, like a ballet dancer. And yeah, I liked the first book so much that I have high hopes for the next one. Then February 27th, Lore of the Wilds by Annalay something is coming out, and I'm gonna be so honest, I fully only picked out this book because I loved the cover and because the main character is a black girl. I am simple, I am predictable, such is the truth. Then April 2nd, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez is coming out. I'll probably read Yours Truly before reading this one, and again, Abby Jimenez is supposed to be like no misses, all hits, so this is probably going to be really good. Then Wild Love by Elsie Silver is coming out April 9th. What is that about? Obviously Elsie Silver wrote the those cowboy books. I loved Flawless. I thought Flawless was so good. I reread it this year even, so I never reread books, so you know that I really liked that one. I'm not seeing a synopsis on Goodreads yet, but it's like a new town, new characters, same addictive love stories, and it's like more contemporary romances, and it's also under westerns, so is it more like cowboy stuff? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. A Funny Story by Emily Henry. I did not read The Happy Place this year by Emily Henry, so I might read that. Daydream by Hannah Grace. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that one. I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and I loved the male character that is going to be the main male character in Daydream. I did not read, what's the second book that came out after Icebreaker? I don't remember, but I did not read it. I heard it wasn't that good, so I don't think I'm missing out. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, coming out June 11th. Damn, Ali Hazelwood just like pumps out book after book after book. This one, A Forbidden Secret Affair Proves That All's Fair in Love and Science. I guess this is another like STEMinist type book, which I mean I like the other one, so I'll probably like this one. Reckless by Lauren Roberta. This one I think is the second book after Powerless, which I heard was really good. I haven't read it. There's so many like sequels that I haven't read the first book to in this list, but yeah, hopefully I'll read Powerless first and then get to Reckless because I've heard it's really good. And then lastly, Blackened Blade Book 2 by Isla Davin. It just says this is coming out in 2024. I don't know when, but I'm so excited. You don't understand. The storyline is so good. It could be so satisfying. Love the main character. And I think it's a reverse harem too. So I love reverse harems. Okay, on a last note for this video, I'm going to go through my reading goals for 2024. And these are the same reading goals I had for 2023 that I did not accomplish. So here's another go. Number 1, read better books I think I'll enjoy on a deeper level and not just smutty or soft romances I don't like or forget within a week. Specifically, read more genres. Number 2, don't use reading for escape to avoid life, but more to relax and have fun. This one's really hard. I've gotten better at this, but I still have a way to go. And then number 3, make more reading content on YouTube, which I've started. But yeah, that's everything for this video. My kind of wrap up for 2023 and then my anticipated reads and goals for 2024. This was just me sitting here and talking for an hour, so I hope you enjoyed. I am going to open my Kobo now and wait for my friend to come over so we can watch Your Name. But I hope that this is a great reading year for you. I hope you read a lot of 5-star books. I hope you discover new authors. I hope I actually reach my goals. And if you have like a specific number of books you want to read, I hope you reach that goal. Though I don't really believe in that, but I'm not going to yuck someone's yum. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.
If I could go back to the day we met, I probably would've stayed in bed. You wake up every day and make me feel like I'm in